Hello, and welcome back to Speak English Daily.
Hi, everyone. We are very happy to see you here today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Speak English Daily, where learning English is simple and enjoyable. I'm Anna.
Hi, Anna. It is great to be here today. I brought a big bottle of orange juice, and I am ready for a fun conversation.
Orange juice today. That sounds refreshing. You always bring something interesting to the studio, Mike.
Thank you. I try my best. And speaking of interesting things, something funny happened to me this morning.
Oh, I love morning stories. What happened?
I was waiting in line at a small coffee shop near my apartment. A very friendly man started talking to me.
That sounds nice so far.
It was. Then he smiled and asked me a question that suddenly made me nervous.
Let me guess. Was it a difficult question?
Not at all. That is the strange part. He simply said, "Tell me about yourself."
Oh, wow. That question sounds easy, but many people find it challenging.
That was me. My brain became completely empty for a moment.
It happens to many people. Even confident English speakers sometimes need a second to think.
I just stood there holding my drink and looking at the menu.
That must have been a long few seconds.
It felt like a whole hour. Then I finally said, "Well, I teach English and I enjoy reading books."
That is a very good answer. It is simple, friendly, and natural.
Thanks, but it made me think about English learners. How do they answer this question comfortably?
That is what we are going to talk about today.
I'm excited for this topic because people hear this question everywhere.
That's true. You can hear it in a classroom, at a party, during a job interview, or when meeting a new neighbor.
And many learners worry about saying the perfect thing.
The good news is that they do not need a perfect answer.
I think our listeners are going to like hearing that.
Today, we will make this question much easier. By the end of this conversation, our friends will have a simple way to answer it with confidence.
That sounds wonderful. Let's help everyone feel more comfortable when they hear those 5 words. Tell me about yourself.
The first thing people should remember is very simple. Keep your answer short.
I'm glad you said that. Some people think they need to tell their whole life story.
No one needs to start with the day they were born.
Or explain every birthday party they've ever had.
That would take a very long time.
Maybe we would need 3 cups of coffee to listen.
Probably more than 3. A short answer is usually the best answer.
So what is a good formula?
We can use 3 easy pieces. First, your name. Second, your job or studies. Third, something you enjoy doing.
That sounds very manageable.
It really is. Listen to this example. Hi, I'm Anna. I'm an English teacher and I enjoy hiking on weekends.
That sounds smooth and natural.
And it takes only a few seconds.
Let me try one. Hi, I'm Mike. I work in education and I love reading mystery books.
Perfect. It tells people who you are without giving too much information.
Why is a short answer better?
Because conversations go both ways. When your answer is short, the other person has room to respond.
That makes sense.
Imagine you meet someone new. If you talk for 15 minutes without stopping, they can't join the conversation.
They become an audience instead of a conversation partner.
That's right. A good conversation is like playing catch with a ball.
I like that image.
You throw the ball to someone, then they throw it back. The conversation keeps moving.
But if I keep holding the ball, nobody else gets a turn.
And the game becomes less fun.
So a short introduction helps create a real connection.
Yes, it invites questions. For example, if I say I enjoy hiking, someone might ask where I like to hike.
If I say I enjoy mystery books, someone might ask for a recommendation.
Suddenly, the conversation becomes easy.
That is much better than trying to memorize a long speech.
Very true. Many learners think longer means better.
But longer can sometimes make you more nervous.
A simple answer is easier to remember and easier to say.
It also sounds more natural.
Another benefit is flexibility. You can use the same basic formula in many situations.
At a class, a party, or even a coffee shop.
Yes, you only need a few details about yourself.
Name, job, or studies, and something you enjoy.
That simple structure can help you feel prepared whenever someone asks the question.
And once you feel prepared, you start speaking with more confidence.
Confidence grows through practice, not through perfection.
I think that's an important message for our listeners.
Me too. We want people to communicate, connect, and enjoy speaking English.
And with a short, friendly introduction, they're already on the right path.
One thing that helps even more is understanding how each piece of the introduction works.
I like that idea. Sometimes people memorize a sentence, but they don't know why it works.
That is very common. Let's look at the first piece, your name.
It sounds simple, but beginners often wonder how much information they should give.
Usually your first name is enough. You can say, I'm Anna, or my name is Anna.
So there is no need to make it complicated.
Not at all. The goal is to start the conversation comfortably.
What if someone wants to add where they're from?
That's a great addition. For example, I'm Carlos, and I'm from Mexico. Or my name is Sarah, and I'm from Canada.
Those sound very natural.
They do. People are often interested in where someone comes from.
And it gives them something to ask about.
That's right. They might ask about your city, your country, or your culture.
So the first piece is really about opening the door to the conversation.
Well said. Then we move to the second piece, which is what you do.
This is where some learners become nervous.
Why do you think that is?
Maybe because they think their answer needs to sound impressive.
I agree, but simple answers are perfectly fine.
Can you give us some examples?
Of course. I'm a student. I work in a hospital. I'm studying engineering. I work in customer service.
Those are all clear and easy to understand.
That is what we want. Clear communication is more important than fancy vocabulary.
What about people who are learning English full-time?
They can say, right now I'm focused on improving my English.
I like that answer. It sounds positive and honest.
It also tells people about a current goal in your life.
And then we come to the third piece.
My favorite piece.
Mine too. This is where people show some personality.
Yes, this is where you talk about something you enjoy. Does it have to be a special hobby? Not at all. Many people think hobbies must be exciting.
Like climbing mountains or flying airplanes.
Those are interesting, but they are not required.
So everyday activities are fine?
Absolutely. You can enjoy cooking, listening to music, walking your dog, watching movies, reading books, or playing basketball.
That makes things much easier.
It does. The best hobby is a real hobby.
Because then you can talk about it naturally.
Yes, when people discuss something they genuinely enjoy, their voice becomes more energetic.
I noticed that with sports fans.
Me too. They can talk for hours about their favorite teams.
And book lovers can do the same with novels.
That enthusiasm helps conversations grow.
So our three pieces work together very nicely.
Name, what you do, and something you enjoy.
A simple formula that feels friendly and complete.
Now let's see how this sounds in a real conversation.
Great. I always enjoy role plays.
Imagine we are meeting at a community picnic.
I can already picture the tables and food.
Focus on the English, Mike.
I am trying.
I walk over and introduce myself. Hi, I don't think we've met before.
You're right. I'm Mike. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Tell me about yourself.
Sure. I work as a graphic designer and I enjoy photography in my free time.
That's interesting. What kind of photos do you like taking?
Mostly nature photos when I travel.
See how easy that was?
Very easy. My hobby gave you a reason to continue the conversation.
And your answer was not long.
But it still provided useful information.
That is the key. A good introduction creates opportunities for more discussion.
Now let's imagine a different situation.
Something a little more formal.
The famous job interview.
Many people hear the same question there.
But the answer should sound slightly different.
Yes, the structure is similar, but the focus changes.
Let's demonstrate.
Good morning. Please tell me about yourself.
My name is Mike. I have 4 years of experience in marketing, and I enjoy helping companies communicate with customers more effectively.
That sounds professional.
I noticed I did not mention photography this time.
Because the situation is different.
The interviewer wants to learn about my skills and experience.
That is why audience awareness matters.
We should think about who's listening.
At a picnic, a hobby may be the best topic.
During an interview, professional strengths are more useful.
Both answers are correct.
They are simply designed for different situations.
When learners understand that idea, introductions become much easier.
They stop searching for one perfect answer and start choosing the right answer for the moment.
And speaking of the moment, this is a great time to hear from our listeners.
I was hoping you would say that. We always enjoy learning more about the people in our community.
We really do. If you're enjoying this episode, please subscribe to Speak English Daily.
And if this conversation is helping you feel more confident, give the video a like.
It helps more English learners find our channel.
We appreciate every bit of support.
We also have a fun challenge for today.
I know where this is going.
In the comments section, write a short introduction about yourself.
Put our simple formula into action.
Tell us your name, what you do, and something you enjoy.
Keep it short and friendly.
We love reading your comments. One of my favorite things is seeing messages from different countries.
It feels like people from all around the world are meeting in one place.
And everyone is helping each other improve their English.
That sense of community is very special.
It reminds learners that they are not studying alone.
Now, before we finish, let's talk about some common mistakes people make when answering this question.
That sounds useful. What is one mistake you hear often?
Sometimes learners translate directly from their native language.
Can you give us an example?
Sure, a learner might say, "I have 30 years."
I hear that one quite often.
In English, we usually say, "I am 30 years old," or simply, "I'm 30."
A small change can make a big difference.
Another mistake is giving too much information.
We talked about that earlier.
Yes, some learners keep talking because they're afraid to stop.
But a conversation should have room for both people.
That's right. A short answer often feels more natural.
What about grammar mistakes?
Learners sometimes mix up present simple forms.
Such as
Someone may say, "He work in a bank."
when the correct sentence is, he works in a bank.
Correct. Paying attention to small details helps your English sound clearer.
I have another question. What can learners do to sound more natural?
One easy tip is using contractions.
Many students learn contractions but forget to use them.
That happens a lot. For example, instead of saying, "I am a student," you can say, "I'm a student."
Instead of, I do not like coffee, you can say, I don't like coffee.
These forms are very common in everyday speech.
They make conversations sound warmer and more relaxed.
They also help you understand native speakers better.
Because native speakers use contractions all the time.
Another useful tip is to speak at a comfortable speed.
Some learners think fast English is better English.
Not at all. Clear English is better English.
I like that advice.
Take your time, organize your thoughts, and focus on communication.
People are usually more interested in understanding you than judging you.
That is an important point to remember.
And the more you practice introducing yourself, the easier it becomes.
One question we hear often is, how can I practice this by myself?
That's a great question because many learners don't always have a speaking partner.
The good news is that you can practice introductions almost anywhere.
Even at home?
Absolutely. One of the easiest methods is speaking in front of a mirror.
I remember doing that when I was learning a new language.
It may feel a little strange at first, but it works very well.
Why is the mirror so helpful?
Because you can see yourself while you speak. You become more aware of your facial expressions and your confidence.
It's almost like having a conversation with another person.
In a way, yes. You can smile, maintain eye contact with yourself, and practice sounding friendly.
I like that approach.
Another useful exercise is recording your voice.
Listening to yourself can be very educational.
It can. You might notice words that are difficult to pronounce or sentences that sound awkward.
Then you can make small improvements each time,
That's how progress happens.
little by little.
Some learners also like using language learning apps or AI tools.
Those can be very useful for speaking practice. You can type your introduction, receive feedback, and try different versions.
It is like having a practice partner available throughout the day.
The important thing is to keep practicing regularly.
Consistency is more valuable than one long study session.
Let's look at another situation where this question appears.
How about the first day of an English class?
Perfect example. Many teachers ask students to introduce themselves.
And that can make some learners nervous.
It certainly can. Imagine the teacher says, "Please tell the class about yourself."
Then everyone starts thinking about what they will say.
A simple answer works well here. "Hi, I'm Maria. I'm from Spain. I'm here to improve my speaking skills."
That sounds clear and positive.
It also tells the teacher about your goal.
Here is another one. I'm Daniel. I work in finance, and I want to become more confident in English.
Very nice. Short, honest, and easy to remember.
The more examples people hear, the more comfortable they become.
That is why practice is so important.
And eventually, introducing yourself starts feeling natural.
Before we finish, let's review what we learned today.
We covered quite a lot.
First, keep your answers short.
A brief introduction is usually more effective than a long speech.
Second, use a simple structure.
Your name, what you do, and something about yourself.
In casual situations, that final part can be a hobby or personal interest.
In professional situations, it can be a skill, strength, or area of experience.
We also talked about speaking naturally.
Using contractions can help your English sound more relaxed.
And making small mistakes is not the end of the world.
Communication is what matters most.
I think many learners put too much pressure on themselves.
I agree. They worry about being perfect before they start speaking,
But confidence grows through action.
not through waiting.
You know, if someone asks you to tell them about yourself, it's usually a good sign.
That is true. It means they want to know you better,
They are inviting you into a conversation.
not giving you an exam.
I love that way of thinking.
Me too. It makes the question feel much friendlier.
Before we go, remember to leave your introduction in the comments section.
We would love to read it.
And if you enjoyed spending time with us today, please subscribe to Speak English Daily.
Share this episode with a friend who is learning English.
Thank you for joining us and practicing with us.
Keep speaking, keep learning, and keep believing in yourself.
Take care, everyone. See you next time.
Goodbye, everyone, and have a wonderful day.